It feels like a guessing game as a parent sometimes. Like you're like, well, I think I'm doing the best I can, but you know what? Who the hell knows? They're still so malleable.
I mean, even as adults, like that's the beauty of neuroplasticity.
You know, being able to read is one thing, but to be able to read a label is another. And so at 5 and 6, like they do have that ability now. Welcome back to EpiPod. Danielle's had anaphylactic food allergies her entire life.
And Sarah is a food allergy mom to 2 kiddos.
Managing this invisible health condition can feel so isolating.
Do you also feel like you have a degree in overthinking?
If you're nodding your head like me, then you're in good company.
Let's get you off that allergy island right now with people who get it.
Ready to dive in?
Today, we are talking about ages and stages.
Yes, this is something that we get asked a lot about. Like, how do I talk to my toddler about allergies? Or like they are starting school and they're like becoming a real person, like a big kid, but not, you know?
Totally.
And how do I make them like truly understand the seriousness without scaring them? I mean, it is a complicated subject for sure.
Totally. That's what I see in the podcast DMs most is like, this is weighing on me and our family so heavily.
Yeah.
How do I tell my kid about this without scaring the living daylights out of them? But it is a life or death. Like the stakes are so high.
Yeah.
The margin of error for a lot of people with anaphylactic allergies is so small. It's like cross-contamination small. So it's such a wild balance. And you as a mom to 2 littles, both with anaphylactic allergies, 2 super different personalities, I feel like you have a lot of knowledge to share with us.
Well, you know, and I never, just like we always are like, we're not doctors. It's like, obviously I'm not a parenting expert, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But I do think that my kids have a reasonable amount of knowledge and like good fear without the bad fear. Do you know what I mean?
They're so little.
Yeah.
They're so different. And yet both of them have said things like, the other day you were talking about like, what does Ethan want to do when he grows up or something?
Right.
And and that's okay. So for context, if you're newer here, Ethan is like her wild child, like where the wild things are, that children's book, like that is Ethan. And Graham is the older child. More stereotypical older child.
Yeah. More like focused on things and like thinks things through and wants to know why. And
Thoughtful.
Ethan's just kind of go with the flow.
So like Ethan, even though he's like more on the wild child side of the spectrum, was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he was like, or what do you want to do when you grow up? And he was like, eat my allergens.
Right. He was like, I want to be able to eat all of my allergies.
Which
like,
is heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's not. It's like, I don't know. He's also not my kid who I think would be, he's the one I think who would be less kind of worried or nervous or anxious about allergies. Like I think he's the one I'm going to have to worry about more if we don't get to a point at OIT that, you know, he's safe. Like I think I would worry most about him just kind of not fully thinking through things. Totally. Especially as he gets older. But yeah, the fact that it was kind of one of the first things on his mind, the first thing he blurted out, and then was interesting to me.
Yeah, what did he was like, just kidding, I want to be a like astronaut, or like what did he say instead?
What did he say? He said a pirate.
A pirate.
And I was like, all right, sure, we'll write down pirate. That's better than be able to eat sunflower seeds, like for a little kid project. I mean, he's 4. It's crazy how much these kids just store in their brains and kind of what they're thinking about. You really don't know. It feels like a guessing game as a parent sometimes. Like you're like, well, I think I'm doing the best I can, but you know what? Who the hell knows?
But like, you can just tell that the way that you have talked to them has sunk in.
Yeah.
Despite them having different allergies, different personalities.
Yeah.
Just, it's sunk in, but they're not necessarily afraid.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think they are.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a good thing, right? You want to have a reasonable amount of fear to keep you safe.
Totally.
But not too much to where you're walking around the world nervous and afraid of your surroundings. And so it is a delicate balance. And I think kind of, and what we'll go through in this episode, it's important to start really young. I mean, I'm talking before they're talking.
Wow.
Is kind of what I wanted to do. And it obviously looks different when they're tiny to when they're 6, you know? And I don't know, preteen stage yet. I don't know teenager stage yet. Maybe you can offer some perspective on that, just having lived with allergies. But I will say from the very beginning of again, they can't even talk at this point, just starting walking, getting into things. I believe it's really important to start teaching them about it because they are walking and grabbing and exploring the world, and they're not going to ever fully understand what allergies are as a 1 or even 2-year-old, but they do know when mommy says yes or mommy says no to something, when mommy's nervous, oh, no, we can't do that, or, they start to understand, we cannot jump off the couch because we're going to hurt ourselves.
There's a glass coffee table right there.
Now, again, my second child, he will do it anyway. So there, you do have to know your kid's personality. But for us, the very first thing that we did was just really speak what's in our head out loud. That's always the first thing I tell people if they ask this is truly anything that you're doing, verbalize it. So if I am at the grocery store with them, and that's something I did from an early age, was bring them with me. I would literally pick up a package and be like, is there milk in this? Let me check. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, this one has milk. It's not safe for our body. Put it back. And they're just they're absorbing everything. So just literally verbalizing what the inner dialogue is in your own head. But kid version, obviously you don't maybe share the oh, this is so annoying, or oh, there's nothing here. Yeah. Which, yes, of course, omit that part. Yeah. But just kind of the working through it, I think, is really important. And even at home, one of the things that we do is check labels, multiple times. So we check it at the grocery store, we check it when we're putting it away from the grocery store, and then we check it before we use it in a dish or pour it into the pot or whatever. And so again, each time you're doing one of those steps, verbalize it, say it out loud. And even a 1-year-old is going to pick up on that stuff. I mean, you see those cute little videos of babies cussing, right? They're like, shit. And you're looking around this is a 12-month-old that just said the word shit's their first word.
Totally. They have 20 words and shit's one of them.
Yes. Or whatever it may be. And, it's because they do absorb anything that you say. So use that to your advantage is something I would tell people, and something we did. And I do think that it worked. Even just the physical motion of picking up the package and turning it around, right? I mean, that in and of itself, a lot of people probably don't do that, don't have to do that. Maybe they're looking at the nutrition or something, but for the most part, if you don't have allergies, that's not really a part of your routine. And when they see it becoming a part of yours, I think it sinks in.
Right. Versus doing the things that maybe they are not privy to, turning around and having a cringe, or needing to step into the powder room in your hallway and just let yourself have a come apart for a second because something isn't fair, and you do need to let it out. There are things that maybe aren't for their eyes and things that you do want them to pick up on. I love seeing how your boys, even when Ethan was super, super little, it turned into a game. It was fun for them to run around Target and be like, okay, check this one. It's a no, put it back. How about this one? Oh, nope, put it back. It became, they don't know that it was turn a positive into a negative, but it was just it was fun for them. It was there's hopscotch, there's jump rope, there's hide and go seek, and this is this fun thing we do at the grocery store all together.
Yes. I love that's such a solid point. I have always aimed, and again, I think it has helped us and helped this idea that they don't have these severe anxieties around food and their allergies. It's more of not a positive thing, but just a thing, right? They were not attaching a major emotion to it in our house. And again, behind closed doors, sure, but not in front of them. And so I've always tried to keep even my voice light and airy when I'm talking about it. Nothing has to be doomsday because they're, again, going to pick up on that energy.
Now it's time to hear from one of our sponsors, Larissa's Kitchen.
Get 20% off the only certified top 9 allergen-free meat snack at larissaskitchen.com. That's LORISSAS kitchen.com. Use promo code EpiPod.
Not only are they certified top 9 allergen-free by Menu Trinfo, they use 100% grass-fed and finished beef or free-range poultry, and they're zero sugar.
Larissa is an allergy mom that knows the struggles firsthand and founded Larissa's Kitchen to enable everyone to snack fearlessly.
Use promo code EpiPod to get 20% off your first order at larissaskitchen.com. LORISSAS kitchen.com.
And so it should be factual and it should be serious. But at the same time, a game like in the grocery store, like at Target, you know, it was Halloween season, I think, when we were doing the video I think you're probably thinking of. And yeah, Ethan was having fun with it. He's like, is this one good? Check the label, you know?
He almost thought it was like funny when it wasn't.
Yeah, because I think I did a dang it, I made a big I don't know, comical, silly reaction, but still kind of with a smile on my face.
You're such a fun mom, Sarah. I love this so much. Like, this blows, but
yeah,
you make it fun.
I mean,
them.
You have to try, you know, or at least I do. And this is no shade to anyone who didn't do it this way. But I do know and talk to people a lot who didn't go this route and kind of did let their anxieties show. And their kids today do have a lot of anxiety. Like, it is a big issue in the school setting now, you know, when they're 5 and 6 and running to the nurse's office. Now, in some scenarios, I think they're that way because they've had reactions.
Totally.
And that trauma sticks with them.
Totally. It was a traumatic event. They're experiencing a child version of PTSD.
Totally. And so in those cases, right, that makes sense. And there's not much a parent could do in that situation at all. But I do know people who have kids, and again, some of this could be personality too. Maybe my kids just don't lean that direction as much. But I know that there has been some guilt from people that I've talked to that said, I think I caused this. They're acting like me. And
it also, though, is okay, if you're sitting in the car being like, oh my God, I have a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old. They're super anxious. They're the ones running to the nurse. I didn't play the hide and go seek game. If you're listening to this feeling guilty, also don't. Yeah. Because you can play the game all day long of it was my fault. It was my fault.
Yeah.
And even if you did let your anxiety shine through, this is really hard and nothing is your fault. You didn't do anything right or wrong. I just love that, if you are still in the 1 to 2 stage, if you're in the non-talking to 1 stage or whatever, is that where the point we're at right now? Yeah. Then this might help. And you might also do this whole thing. Yeah. And end up with the same other result. Yeah. So if you're feeling the type of way that maybe you were feeling during the breastfeeding episode, don't. Moms get enough freaking guilt and shaming from the entire universe. Don't do that to yourself.
Totally.
But I love that this is something that so far has been really helpful for your family.
Yeah, it has. And it's, I think, a tool that even if you haven't used it before and your kids are a little older, you can start to use it now too.
Absolutely.
It's never too late to decide to kind of change the way you talk about things. Or, these kids, they're still, even when they're 5, 6, 7 years old, they're still so malleable.
I mean, even as adults, that's the beauty of neuroplasticity. Our brain pathways, our brains are like trees. Yeah. And the more attention you give to something, it builds that tree into a stronger and stronger branch. So even somebody like me, 33 and in the hole with a lot of food allergy anxiety, I still have a shot of, if I decide to stop building that tree in that direction, I can start rebuilding the tree that I used to have, a more healthy, keep you safe anxiety, and then you stop thinking about it because you're safe.
Totally.
Yeah. So I think that's another ray of hope, even if you don't have a little, or even if you do have say a preteen who had just, there's them visiting the hospital for anaphylaxis is really sticking with them. There is so much hope, and our brains and our bodies are designed so miraculously, especially for those of us who struggle with mental health, anxiety. getting over fear,
Yeah.
getting over scary, bad experiences. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's like
yes. Well, I was just going to add that's young. A couple other things that I did was, we played a lot of like grocery store and kitchen at home.
Oh,
so
cool.
yes, bring them to the grocery store, but also like when you're just playing at home, make believe games, or they're bringing you the little, toy mustard or something. If you're playing restaurant, you could say, model even how you talk to a waiter, oh, does this, even when they're little, like, oh, but does this have milk in it? And they can pretend to check or do whatever, but it's all like a play game, role play situation. And again, it helps bring reality into it.
My mom used to do this, except with stranger danger.
Yeah, see, it works. Yeah.
I mean, to the point where I would like scream bloody murder, like an aunt that I hadn't seen in 2 years, but it definitely worked.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Let's see. We talked about talking out loud, and then some of the phrases that I started even at this age was, and they loved it, was some people say no label, no thank you, which is really sweet. But if you have two little boys that are wild and like to just be silly like mine, we say no label, no way, but the no way is like screamed.
I'm obsessed.
So we're like, no label, no way, like you just like make a big deal out of it. And they love it. They think that it's like the silliest, funniest thing, and they get to be like, no,
The next time that I'm home with my family, in like my childhood home, if my parents are like, do you want some of this cheese or like, something that somebody brought over, I'm going to do the no label, no way!
Yes.
And see what they do.
You should. Yeah.
That's so fun.
And you should record it, and then we can talk about it on
And my mom's
social
like,
media.
am I going viral?
Yeah.
Again.
She has gone viral quite a few times, right?
I think much to her chagrin.
Oh, Norma.
Follow
Danielle if you want to see Norma and Larry. I almost said Randy. I don't know why. Okay. And then like basic words too. So when they're really little, I would say allergy, but I mean, allergy is a very complex thing. Like they're not a 1 and 2 year old. They're not going to really understand what that means. And it's going to be hard to explain it. So I used more basic words at that age, like, your body doesn't really like this food, or if you eat this, it'll make you sick. So keeping it a little less complicated at that age. And then as they're approaching 2, I think you can start to say allergy more and more. And again, it's not that you don't say the word allergy. It's just that word doesn't mean much to them yet. And they can't really understand how to figure out what it does mean. So I just kept it more around, your body doesn't like this. This can make you sick. Or as they're getting older, maybe like, we'd have to go to the doctor or the hospital if we had this accidentally, stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of my like 1 to 2. I would say as they're getting closer, like 2 and 3, and like you're looking at books and things, there is a Daniel Tiger allergy book, which is, I think, the most simple allergy book out there. There's quite a few allergy books now, but I think a lot of them are more for the pre-K, kindergarten age, or even older. But the Daniel one is really, really simple and sweet. And so we can link that. But that one was probably our first kind of intro book to allergies.
Nice.
All right, moving on to ages like 3 to 4. So we're talking toddler range. They're fully walking, they're talking,
they're grabbing snacks off of people's
they're tantruming in like a new level sort of way. And they really do understand the world so much more at those ages. I mean, I think about Ethan, he's 4 going on 5. But I mean, he's like a little person. He's
like a little man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, 3 and 4 sounds so little, but when you have one, they can do so much. Their brain still doesn't function very well in terms of like emotional regulation and stuff like that. But they can understand more complex topics. So that's when I went heavy on books and things. So definitely by age 3, we were reading lots of different allergy books, which again, I can link to them in the show notes in case anybody wants to pick them up and sure read them.
People would love that.
Yes. So again, we kept saying things like no label, no way. That was pretty much down pat at our house at around 3 years old. Talked a little bit more about like we can't eat that because, like, so giving a little more reasoning behind why, rather than just that'll make you sick. It's like, well, we can't eat that because your body doesn't like it. You have an allergy to this. So kind of almost just like adding another sentence. I feel like, and I've heard this before, I didn't make it up, that like based on the kid's age is how many sentences they can absorb.
Oh, okay.
So like if when they're 1 year old, you want to keep it to one sentence. When they're 2, you can add on another sentence. And by 3, you could probably explain it in 3 sentences. So you're adding a little more detail and they can probably absorb 3 short sentences worth. Of course, as they get older and learn to read, that's different. But like at those early ages, that's what I read somewhere and I kind of stuck to it, just keeping the notes really short for them to understand it.
Yeah.
Definitely was still going to the grocery store at this time, making sure that they were a part of cooking. So saying like, even I start doing at 3 years old, like we would put butter, or the recipe would say butter, and we would call at home our vegan butter. First of all, that's the first step. I never, like, so we had Ripple milk or flax milk or whatever it was. I would never just call it milk.
Yeah.
Never just call it butter, because my kids
that could be really confusing for like an adult or a babysitter for them being like, no, like I want my milk, or like milk, or you them using the word allergy could be the difference in a medical emergency or not. Just like, even though they're a little kid, they may not understand it. I can see how that could be really helpful. Just them knowing the right words for things.
Right. Yes. You don't want them to get confused when they're not with you out. And then you don't want, someone who comes into your house to be confused and think something because they said, well, I want some milk. And, you know, in our house, we didn't really keep allergens in the house when they were real little. I wanted it to be kind of their safe place. And also based on the order of the kids, you know, like Graham being the one with the longer list and him being the firstborn, it was easier. I know some people struggle because the firstborn doesn't have it and then the second one does, and they don't want to, they don't want to take away foods that the firstborn likes. And I totally get that. But our situation was different. And so we kind of kept foods like that out of the house, but still I didn't want them to go to daycare and say, I want milk, and then somebody pour them a glass of milk. So for us, that's, you know, we used clear language around both allergies in general and also about like the products and things that we were consuming.
I would just, oh my gosh, like it's super like mental strength to be able to send your little to a place like daycare. Because it's like, are you going to have like a brain fart and forget the millions of conversation in the packet and the, it's so much.
It is.
Every time you bring it up, I'm like, oh my gosh, like Sarah's amazing.
I mean, allergy moms, you have to be, you have to step up to a new plate. We also at this age definitely started showing them visually like pictures of things. So this helps again with books, but also just even pulling up, like, this is what milk looks like, you know, or this is what certain nuts look like, so that they can both see the word, see like a picture of it, and they're more able to spot it in the wild, right? Like if I showed Ethan sunflower seeds, or definitely by 3 years old, if not maybe even a little sooner, because I wanted him to be able to like look in a trail mix and see like, oh no, that has my allergy. And what's funny is we went to my mother-in-law's house and she had bird seed out. And of course, a lot of bird seed has sunflower seeds.
I don't know one that doesn't.
Right. I know. And so we like, he was able to spot that had sunflower seeds. You know, I don't know, was he 4 yet? I can't remember if he was 3 or 4, but he was able to visually see that's a sunflower seed. I'm allergic to that.
That bird feeders stress me out.
I know.
When I'm walking my dog, like every time I pass a house with one of those big bird feeders with all the bird feeds scattered, it's just like, like I'm sure that has nuts.
Oh, it has everything.
It's so annoying.
We just got a bird feeder, and we had to look for one that was both peanut and sunflower seed free, which is the 2 most common ingredients in bird seed. And it was really, really hard, but we did find one. So I'll have to share that link too. If you want that link, just message me.
Sarah loves her bird, her bird feeding.
Oh my gosh, I do. I'm like quarter middle life crisis.
No, you just got a really fun Christmas gift.
Yes, but it's really fun to watch. It's like one of those camera ones. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we are derailed, but we're coming back.
I love derailing.
Okay, let me look at my little list here. Okay, another thing we talked about was, this is the age where they're probably starting to go to pre-K or Mother's Day outs and things like that. If you kept them home in the early years, you might be sending them to school. And so one tool that I thought was really important was to tell them, you never eat anything that mommy and daddy don't give you. So like nobody else is allowed to give you food. Like you only eat what's in your pack, what you brought. So that way they're even starting to question like, oh, my teacher's giving me something. It doesn't matter that it's my teacher. Like she's not mommy or daddy. So it's only food mommy and daddy bring.
And that is honestly so helpful for all things, like just coming back from the holidays or like if there's a parent helper, even if you're in the room for the Valentine's Day party too,
right?
Like some well-meaning mom turning around and be like, oh, here, sweetie, here's a cookie.
Yeah.
And they're like, mommy didn't give it to me, therefore it's not my cookie.
Right.
That is so epic to like start that early of like that thought pattern.
I think it's helped us in a lot of scenarios. And sometimes I do see Graham like want it, right? Like he does want to have it, but he knows that he can't, and that makes me sad, but I'm also really proud of him. And we of course always have like backup treats and things to replicate whatever he couldn't have.
I don't remember everything when I was 6, but genuinely, like none of these conversations happened to my knowledge. I was just such a picky eater and like such a 8-year-old princess at the age of 5. Like I remember my mom coming for pizza day with like my soy pizza because at the time I was lactose intolerant. Don't know if that was actually a dairy allergy. We'll never know. However, like I remember, I don't ever remember wanting what my classmates had.
Yeah.
Like I always remember like being like, I get it out of my box.
Yeah, that's great though. That's really good.
Yeah.
That it was made to feel special and not just different.
I don't even know if it was made to feel special. Like I don't know. I always say this, but like every kid is so different. And at least for me, like I don't recall feeling like I wanted the treat that everybody else had.
Yeah.
I don't recall anything other than just being like, my mom's coming. And that looks interesting.
You think your mom was probably a good cook. That probably helped too.
Totally. But I just remember not looking down, but like totally looking down on like what everybody else had to eat. And like, I get the special one. So I don't know, like take heart if you're also being like, my kid, like even if it starts off with them wanting it, like take heart, like they really could actually enjoy having the different thing.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Graham did too. I mean, he wanted it, but then once he had like something he really loved and he had that backup, like he was stoked. He was fine. Yes, no, that's really, really good point. Let's see. Oh, also this is the time when we definitely started practicing with trainers. So the EpiPen or AviQ trainers that come with your set, getting those out and in a very, again, playful way. It doesn't have to be really scary topic. Like, oh, when you can't breathe anymore, we're going to jab this into your leg. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's just, if ever we have an accident and eat your allergy, then we need to use this to feel better.
This is your medicine.
Yeah, it's your medicine, and practice with it. And they both have really liked practicing. Like it seems kind of like a fun toy or game, and it talks to you. At least the AviQ does. And so I think it's been helpful to take away some of the fear around the device as well. So let's see. Is that yeah. And then just always ask before you try something new. That's a phrase we use too. So always ask before you try something new. Never have anything from anybody who's not mommy or daddy, and no label, no way. So those are kind of like our 3 phrases.
They're their mantras.
Yes, they are.
I'm obsessed.
They're safety mantras. It's a good thing. They need that. And I think it feels strong, and it feels like they feel confident in that. Like it's simple enough for them to be able to remember it and feel confident saying it out loud or even in their own head.
Okay, talk to me about sort of more where Graham is in now. What is 5 to 6 range like? Now it's time to hear a word from one of our sponsors. You guys, it's Abe's Muffins. They are one of my favorite sweet treats and one of the only brands that I buy every single week without fail. It's Abe's Muffins. They're a beloved brand of school-friendly mini muffins, cupcakes, and more. Everything that they make is vegan and free from dairy, eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, soy, sesame, and pea protein. And what's even better is that they are made in their dedicated facility in New York. So they really are a brand that you can trust, whether you are an allergy anxiety adult or a food allergy mama. Look out for Abe's in the bakery section at Whole Foods, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, H-E-B, and other grocery stores nationwide.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, if you're a parent of a 5 or 6 year old, or even if you're not, I mean, they become truly little people at this stage. I mean, Graham has his own ideas, his own feelings on things. He has a lot more awareness and understanding of the world. He can read. So a lot of things change.
Graham can read?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fully. I think even start kind of reading in kindergarten. And yeah, he's in first and he's reading chapter books without pictures.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't recall that.
It's crazy. I know.
How cool.
I know. It is really awesome. The other day he said to me, he said, "Mommy, reading is really quite fun." And then I said, "Yes, it is." And then he goes, "You know what's really cool? Even when there's no pictures, I can kind of see the pictures in my brain." And I was like, "Yeah, baby, that's so cool." Yeah, it was just so cute.
I'm obsessed. Yes. As a book obsessed person, I'm like,
yes, it's so good. And it's also a good time when they're learning to read and in this stage to really, again, double down on label reading. And this time, make sure they're doing it with you. Like, make it a game, a search and find, like, have them look through this like busy label with all these million ingredients and find their allergies. So, you know, being able to read is one thing, but to be able to read a label is another. And so at 5 and 6, like, they do have that ability now.
Yeah.
And so it's not just mommy and daddy's job anymore. It's your job. And kind of giving them this sense of responsibility around it, I think empowers them.
I do remember that growing up. Like, it was always my job.
Yeah.
Like, it is my job to talk to the waiter. Almost like maybe they made it a little bit too much my job. But like, it was always my job.
Yeah.
Like, and that made me, I did sleepovers, I did summer camp, I did all of the things. And so when parents DM to ask me like, "Did you go to summer camp? Like, was it an allergy specific camp?" And I'm like, "Nope, it was my job every single day to walk in there and be like, 'Hi, allergic to peanut butter.
Yeah.
Can I get fresh pancakes from the back? Because these ones are kind of touching in the buffet line.'"
That's great.
And
you became your own advocate.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, my first away to summer camp was 3rd grade. But I had already, like, it was my job at like talking to waiters, talking to restaurant people. Reading the app is, reading the ingredient lists is so cool, especially that they're reading at this time.
Yeah.
If your child has a non-top 9 allergen and then it's not in bold at the bottom, or it's something maybe like super obscure, like orange, or like one of my new friends, she's anaphylactic to potato. So like, that is going to be buried in one of those. Even like, I wanted to share with her Abe's, and I couldn't because it had potato in the cupcake tray that I had gotten from Abe's, which is a top 9 allergen friendly thing. Right. Even more than top 9. Like, they even have pea free facility and things like that. But there is an app called Fig, and I could totally see that being a really fun game for kids, especially like now with technology being really integrated into, everybody has an iPad, everybody knows how to work the phones. Like, you can search for your allergen on there, but you can also, like, in the grocery store, scan the barcode. Yeah. And it knows, like, say you have a potato allergy, scan the barcode and it will come up, even though it's buried in a long list of ingredients. So if you have a kid, I could see in the 5-6 range, like, that being really fun. Totally. To scan or to, like, learn, like, mine isn't in, you know, the bold at the bottom. Like, you really have to play hide and go seek with it. And like, here's like here's an extra superpower in order to search for it.
It will feel like a little video game or something.
Exactly.
I mean, as you're saying, we've not done that with Graham, but man, he would love that. He would want to be in the grocery store for 3 hours scanning labels.
Sunflower seed isn't in the bold.
Yeah. No,
So,
Ethan could get down with that too, for sure. He's a little less like technology obsessed at this point, but still, like they would both, again, they would want to go to the grocery store and just scan every label. So maybe don't, if you don't want to be in the grocery store forever, but no. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Like there's so many more tools now with searching obscure.
Oh yeah.
ones.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Let's see. Oh, one thing that I read, it's in a certain book and I don't remember the name of the book right now. Trying to rack my brain, but I'll put it in the show notes.
Okay.
But it is a lot more detailed and it explains anaphylaxis in a way that feels less scary.
I think I need to read that book.
Yeah. Yes. They describe it kind of like, and I've used this again, like with my boys, that the body is like, has an army, like a little, like a big, some sort of force, protective, agency that's protecting it. And sometimes when you have an allergy, the body thinks that that's a foreign invader. Like it thinks it's a really bad guy coming into your body.
The army got confused.
Yes. And the army goes and attacks the bad guy because it thinks it's bad. And that fight that they're having, the battle that they're having is the reaction. Your body is just kind of out of control because there's this big war, this big battle happening in your body. And that really clicked with Graham around the 5-6 age range. Like he started to really understand that's what a reaction is. My body thought that it was a foreign invader. My body wanted to protect itself and fought back. And that battle is making me feel really out of control and bad.
What you've just described is the plot of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
The White Walkers have arrived and we need the antidote.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, and they all all the action, Avengers, whatever, they can all relate to that at that age because they're getting into that sort of villain, hero, superhero, whatever vibe. And so I think that was helpful when we read that, and we've kind of just talk about it on our own. And especially after when he had anaphylaxis, we kind of talked about that again. And I think it's been really helpful. So it could be something good to introduce that kind of more complex idea of what is a reaction. Let's see. Talking about the importance of advocacy. So we just kind of talked about that a little bit with you about going to summer camp and stuff. But I think this is the age where you really want to make sure they can speak up for themselves. So whether it's at a counter when they're ordering, to the waiter at the restaurant, to their teacher in the classroom, no longer doing everything for them. They need to step up to the plate and learn how to talk to adults and advocate for themselves by age 5, in my opinion.
Totally. Even if you know what you've given them, or not you've given them, even if you know that the classroom treat is safe.
Yeah.
Hey, did you ask?
Right.
Oh, you didn't? Then you better put it down and now ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember sometimes having those conversations with my parents.
Yeah.
Of being
I think it's important.
Wonder if, it's just French fries. I remember so vividly once being at a restaurant in Colorado with my parents. And it's one of the only times I ever remember my parents being involved with advocating. But I remember being I wonder, but it's just French fries. And my dad was I think it's not, it could be more than just French fries. What if you just asked?
Yeah.
And I did. And it was sure as heck it was peanut oil and a shared fryer.
Wow.
And I remember being it really stuck with me. All it takes is once.
Yeah.
Of being oh wow, me asking that one question
Saved
made
me.
a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I need to ask every single time.
Totally.
But yeah, building those pathways and those experiences of ooh, I now have confidence because I took care of myself here. And then I took care of myself again. I took care of myself again. And every time, my mom is so proud of me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think, and every kid wants their parents' approval and respect. And especially at this age, they want to be seen as kind of a big kid.
Yeah.
And so give them some of that agency. And I think that they kind of run with it in a good way. I mean, of course, you're still their parent and they're still little, but you can choose kind of new things to have them do. And I think it will build their confidence over time. The only other thing I would say is, continue playing with the trainers, make them a part of your monthly. Like I have like a monthly reminder in my phone to pick up the AviQ trainer and get familiar with it. So making them a part of that kind of monthly regular thing rather than just kind of a toy situation.
Yeah.
And then I think the only other thing I would say at this stage is just asking them regularly, like if we're reading a book or if something happens in a movie or just we're riding in the car and I'm thinking about it, just asking them like, do you have any questions? And making sure like the doors are always open to conversation around their allergies. If they have any kind of fears, they might bring them up then, and then you can kind of talk through them with them. And it's an open conversation. It's not this like hush hush, we only talk about it in certain times kind of thing. It's a not scary, just a truth in our lives that we can talk about openly.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not anywhere past 6, so I don't know what the next phase, holds. But one thing I think about in the future is definitely like dating and teenage things. Yes, sleepovers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
What can you remember?
I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
And more than what I remember is like what I hear from parents is they don't really want to listen to me anymore. Like it goes from like, I want to make mommy and daddy proud. Like I want them to see me as a big kid, like you just said, and more like I'm my own person. Like I'm cool. I'm my own person. Like they're kind of lame, like parents, lame. So your word and your warnings almost become like at best one ear out the other. And at worst, like they kind of want to do the opposite. Oof. I still, at 33, am like, if my mom says something, I'm like, she likes that dress? I don't like that dress. You want so badly to like be your own person.
Yeah.
And you have this feeling like it's the beginnings of like wanting to separate, not because you don't love your family, but because like you want to be seen as capable, as yourself, as independent.
Yeah, autonomous.
And I think it can be really hard, especially for certain personalities for boys. Like girls can be very cautious, like a lot more thoughtful, a lot less impulsive, just across the board. Like those are total stereotypes.
Sure.
But like you just look at little kids and like the little girl is like a 3-year-old coloring and playing with her Play-Doh, and the boys are like, let's make brown. And you're like, I just bought that, but okay.
Yes.
So I think what I hear a lot of feedback from parents in DMs and voice notes and emails is like, I'm struggling with my son. I don't know if my warnings are hitting anymore. And I'm so worried, but I of course like want him to go off and progress.
Yeah.
Like continue to mature. And what I always offer with that is like, find somebody in their life who they do respect. Like find somebody, and this goes for girls too. Like I have a modern family. So I'm my dad's 3rd child and my mom's first and only. And so my older half sister was like a really cool aunt to me. And I always respected like what she thought, and like it would kind of go both ways. Like I remember when I wanted to shave my legs and my parents were like, you have to be 13 to shave your legs. And I'm like, I'm half Mexican. Like, you see, I could braid this hair. Like I would use my sister Kirsten as like, can you just like nudge them and tell them like this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like this isn't normal. Like this is weird. But I think whether they did it intentionally or not intentionally, like if she would overhear them talking to me and not even just about allergies, about anything, like her reinforcing it, I'm like, oh shoot, like she's right. Like I should, whatever, ask again or check the label or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So whether that's like somebody in your family, like if it's like they really are drawn to your brother-in-law or your sister, like having that older parental figure, but who they think is just like so cool and epic and not their mom. But it's also like finding people in culture who they can look up to. Like pick an allergen, any allergen. There's somebody famous who has it and might even be speaking about it.
Yeah.
Like Kelly Clarkson, allergic to peanuts. there was the DJ who had a allergy or an anaphylactic reaction on his, like, he was going from one gig in some like faraway country to another gig, like literally like going from one nightclub gig to the next one, had a reaction, talked about it. So like using examples of people who are doing cool things, that maybe he's really interested in music, or like maybe he's going to think this guy who's like covered in tattoos is cool. And to see not just like, oh, you know, this person has to advocate for themselves too, or this person had to use their EpiPen too, or thank goodness this person was carrying his EpiPen.
Yeah.
I think it can open doors and be a little bit less about like the naggy or like, mom, like mom being mom, and more like, oh shoot, like that sucks, but like a lot of other people have to deal with this. And like people who like, I want to be him when I grow up. Like,
yeah,
I want tattoos, or I want to be going on an airplane from Mykonos to London. Like, I think that can be really helpful in finding somebody who isn't you, but who they're going to respect and look up to.
Yeah.
And I even do that now. Like, community is so huge. Just in the past couple of months, like making new connections with friends who also have nut allergies, who are my age. Like, I immediately am like, I see them going out to eat here in Austin, and I'm like, shoot, I'm going to third wheel one of their dates with their husband, you know, like I want to go do that now. And
yeah,
even last year, like before I didn't know them and before they lived in this city, like, no way. Like, I'll meet you guys after for drinks. So it really, community can really change your perspective, whether it's like your anxiety, your willingness to listen, your openness to conversation about it. So even if that's just like another kid in their class, or like another kid, preferably an older kid, who's like talking positively about it in one of their extracurriculars, just like really looking for community can be helpful for them.
Yeah.
Also, I've heard this from moms of teenage boys where they're like, I talked to his girlfriend, and like, I, you know, like really in a non-scary way, like educated her on like, if you guys are going to go out to that movie, like you got to make sure he has his EpiPens, like just in case, or like, here's what his doctor said, like, you know, 24 hours, or some doctors are like, brush your teeth first, or have a meal and brush your teeth before you guys kiss. Like, the people, they're going to become more and more intense about their friendships and their relationships outside of the family unit. Yeah. So using that as a tool and as a friend versus like a foe, or, oh my gosh, they're less in my control. Just like finding, like getting close to their parents or getting close to the people in their life. And if they love your child, which they obviously do, if their friends are dating them, like teaching them how to love them and care for them by helping them advocate and helping them remember their EpiPens and helping them feel confident if something bad were to happen.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's such a good idea. I love that.
And like that is like extends into adulthood.
Yeah.
Like somebody who is living alone and dating, and my family they're not even in my city. That's like a constant reminder, is every time I'm feeling alone in it, it's like, okay, then you just need to find some more community, or like you need to you haven't gotten drinks with that girl in like a couple months. Like, remember how much more confident you felt after that? So
yeah.
That also goes for like allergy parents. Like if you're feeling alone in it, or really anxious lately, or just like whatever part of the emotional cycle, I think you can use that tool as the caretaker as well. Yeah,
no, for sure. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for teenage Graham and Ethan yet. It's like, it's funny with, you know, newborn age is hard, toddler age is hard. Like they're hard in every stage. You trade hard for hard, I think, you know, like some things get easier. They start sleeping through the night, but now all of a sudden they're doing X, Y, and Z. And it's just like one thing after the next. So I know I'll get there. I know that it'll be okay, but you know, it is definitely new territory that we will be discovering before we know it. And if there's somebody listening who's just like aced how to parent allergy teens, DM us, send us an email, because we'll have you on the podcast.
Yeah.
We need an expert.
Yeah, or reading out your bullets. We would love
for
to.
sure. But at least I hope this was helpful for, anybody with youngsters or even like the middle school age, because I think you gave a lot of solid pointers on that as well.
I don't remember. My allergy was not like the center of my world. Like, I feel like now allergies, and I'm working so hard to change this, but it feels like they're the sun. And then the rest of my life sort of like
orbits around.
Yeah, is the solar system that orbits around it. Like my personality, my dog, my friends, my dating, my family, like my hobbies, it all just goes around the allergy. And that wasn't until the past like 5-ish years.
Yeah.
It used to not be that way. So like all growing up, my allergy was like, what's the smallest planet? Pluto? What's the last one?
I don't think it's a planet anymore, actually.
It isn't?
I think they took it off the planet list.
I am not a STEM girly, okay? Never have been, never will be. But like it was the smallest of non-planets.
Yeah.
And so I think like building a good foundation with the things that you talked about, like that builds up to teenager and adult years of just like really letting them be able to have confidence and handle it in a way that like lets you be like, okay, like they got it.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. As a parent, I don't think we ever think our kids totally have it. We're always going to be nervous and scared and worrying.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. I mean, my mom worries about me today. So I know that never goes away, but you can do the best you can. So we're trying. Here's to trying.
Yeah. Or like trusting them. Like,
yeah.
At the end of the day, my mom's best friend always says it beautifully. She's like, you may not always agree with her, and she might be choosing things that you wouldn't choose, but at the end of the day, like, don't you trust her? Like that she has the ability to handle it herself, even if it goes wrong. She always has, and she always will.
Yeah.
And my mom and I are always like, yeah.
Aw, that's great. I don't know that I'll always feel that way. I hope so, but we'll see.
You will.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I hope that people got something out of this episode, and, let us know if you have any additional questions, and we'll try to answer them. But good luck. Good luck to all the parents out there. You can do it.
And my hat's off to you guys, because whoa.
All right. Yay. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.